Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome all of y'all to Cliff Notes Live episode number, I think it's 161. I should check ahead. I think it's 161. Welcome to all of y'all. Yes, I know there's a football game going on at the same time. In fact, that's one of the reasons I'm running a little bit behind. The national championship game's being played here in Houston. Why couldn't have been my Texas A&M Aggies playing in it? That wouldn't have been something, but it wasn't. But I tell you what, we've got horrible weather here in Houston. Between that, I was trying to come home from work between horrible weather and driving past the stadium that has, there must be 500,000 people outside that stadium trying to get in as quick as they could. Between both of those, traffic's a little messed up, but I'm glad I made it. I thank y'all all for being here with me tonight. I know some of y'all are just watching me. Thank you very much. Some of you are watching me, and you may have your eyes turned to the TV set as well. That's me. And some of you are just watching on replay. I'm happy to have it set up so we can do any of the above. I welcome all of y'all. I almost forgot. A big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids. I love reality TV fans. Love you guys as well. Thank you for spending yet another Monday night with me. For those of you who are watching live and those of you who may be watching on replay as well, I appreciate both of you guys. If you haven't already done so, please consider going out, subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, and maybe a little thumbs up of if you could as well. Got a little bit of a cough here. Sorry about this, guys. It's that cold air. Oh, I'm Texan. I'm not used to that cold weather stuff. Thank God Big Brother was a summertime show when I did it. If it was cold in that house, which we saw people complaining about this season, then yeah, that may have been tough on me. But anyway, all right. So what's going on? Let me go out here and check. First of all, look, let's see. I'm checking my background and all of that. It says rushing around a little bit. Let me see who all's out here. Michelle Moore. Michelle, how are you doing? Marilyn Sutherland, Amanda Lowe, Brian Hostetler. I know you got the TV in the background, Brian. Jake the Horror Movie Geek, Mark Taylor, Ma. Welcome, Ma. How are you doing? School started back up yet? It's got to be close, right? Maybe not quite. Desiree Watts as well. Desiree, how are you doing? Karen Loveland from West Virginia. Welcome there. Been to West Virginia a few times. Let's see, Karen Hummer as well. Let's see, Terry Thomas. Hey, Terry, how are you? Deborah Nail, Karen Loveland, Andy W., Beverly Brannon. I love seeing all you guys out here. Yazi McGee. And I think that's about it. Wyatt Garrett as well. Wyatt, how are you, sir? Welcome to all of y'all. I got kind of a just open discussion. I figured maybe a little reality TV, a little football, maybe a travel story or two. We got to talk about my Texans, right? It's going to be fun. My Texans won their football game. They won the division. They're in the playoffs. I don't know that they'll go any further than that. They're playing Cleveland Browns, which I know who Brian's cheering for, but if the Texans are going to get beat, don't mind it being Cleveland, but they do have that. I realized something, guys. I don't know if all of y'all saw it, but I went to a casino over in Louisiana earlier this year, just as the NFL season was starting. Maybe it was even the summertime. And I made a few bets while I was over there, just because you never know. And I wanted to show those bets off to you because I like to brag sometimes when I can. Celebrate your victories, right? All right, I've got a little betting slip. I've got one. I don't know if you can see it here. That shows the Houston Texans to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, that hadn't happened yet, but I'd love to see it happen. But I also placed a bet for, you'll see that, for the Houston Texans to win the AFC South Division. Yes, I made a bet on it. I won, so I'm going to be breaking in the big bucks because I bet $5 on it, which means I collect $45. Yeah, I'm not a huge big spender when it comes to gambling money and all that, but I at least get to say I bet on the Texans to win the division, and they did it. Now, if the Texans were to win the Super Bowl, I bet $5, and if that happens, I won $1,000. Yeah, we'll do something fun if that was to take place. We'll do something fun with this show, but anyway, I just thought I'd brag a little bit on that. It's exciting. To have football, a little fun. Again, it's not Maggie's playing tonight, but at least I got my Texans still playing a little bit. So there you go. All right, let me look at a few comments because again, we're kind of open this evening. We got Ma saying, fell for a ransomware scam and lost $700 on my Discord account on New Year's Day. Oh, no, Ma, I don't want to hear that. That stuff is brutal. It's especially now with deep fakes and everything going on. God, be careful about that. When I first got out of the Big Brother house, there were quite a few people that were getting scammed because people would set up false accounts saying they were me and, send me $20 and I'll send you an autograph or I'll send you my BB comic shirt. And all kinds of promises were made. And I had people reach out to me. I said, it's not me. I first of all, I would never charge for something like that, but it's just not me. There's a lot of that stuff out there. Don't beat yourself up on it too much, Ma, because it happens to a whole lot of people. Unfortunately, way too many people. It is amazing. I listen. All right, for those of you who are just looking for extra things to occupy your time, there's a podcast that I listen to that is incredibly interesting, but also incredibly scary. It's called the Darknet, Darknet, Darknet Diaries. It's hosted by a guy named Jackery Sider, and it's all about cyber crimes and ransomware and all the horrible things that could happen online. And it goes into detail about how it happens, and it's amazing. And some of this ransomware is organized criminal activity over in other countries. Sponsored by North Korea's got a huge section that just does ransomware stuff. But then some of it's 13-year-old kids that are in their parents' attic and or basement or whatever. It's amazing how brilliant some of the people are. It's kind of like superheroes and supervillains. Some of these people are so smart. If you could just turn those powers to good instead of scamming people, what powerful stuff could you do? But anyway, all right, well, Ma, I'm sorry to hear that. What do they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So now you know. Don't ever give money to those folks but it's I know there's things where they call and say that someone's been kidnapped and there's all kinds of different scams that go on. So yeah, it's tough. I get more stuff on my cell phone messages and things like that. It's constantly someone. Lots of Nigerian princes seem to be related to me. All right, let's see. Cindy, did I miss you when I said hello, Laura? I'm sorry about that. Of course, I'm saying hello to you. So I'm sorry about that, Cindy. Just skipping through those so quick. I still want to hear your story. Maybe somewhere down the road, we're going to be bringing some more people on because I really want to hear your story about your discussion with Julie Chen, especially about maybe having a senior season of Big Brother and all that. Yeah, they just wrapped up the Golden Bachelor, right, where they had all older folk. I think Big Brother could do something like that. Now, I don't know if people would be as excited. Not that there couldn't still be showmances. I mean, you can have a few of those in there as well, but I think it would be a different kind of game if you played with, I don't know, maybe have 15 people that are over the age of 50 and one person in their 20s and see how that person does. See what the shoe's like on the other foot kind of deal. But yeah, who knows? But I do want to hear that story, Cindy, because I know there's some more stuff I haven't heard just yet. Cindy saying, getting bachelor's. Oh, your bachelor's in forensic psychology, graduating in April. Congratulations. I feel like you told me about the forensics, which is incredibly interesting. I feel like, I don't know. You tell me. I feel like that's one of those things that you probably have to be. You have to be able to put up with seeing a lot of stuff and deal with a lot of things that may be. I don't know. Maybe I've seen too much CSI, and it's maybe not quite that way, but that's pretty cool. That's certainly not a degree that anyone would have thought of at the turn of the century. That sounds really weird, but going into the year 2000, I'm not sure that was even a thing. So welcome to that. Without getting morbid, there's a thing called a body farm down here, not too far away from Houston, where I think it's the FBI just takes bodies and things and watches the way they decompose and does forensics on it and all that. And having said that, I'm going to move to a whole different topic because that's not what we're going to talk about this evening. All right, Ma saying school started today. Well, congratulations, Ma. Is that congrats? Enjoy. I mean, not just enjoy. Value and get everything you can out of every one of those school days. Yeah, I went to school a few years back. There's a part of me I wish I could go back again. Now, knowing everything I know now, God, I know the value of that education. I would just pay that much more attention to it. So congratulations, Ma, on that. Terry Atler saying started college, third semester in HVAC. Congratulations on that. That's pretty good. Athens Technical College. Come to Texas. There's certainly plenty of HVAC needs over here. I tell you what, you get 110 degrees outside on a July day. Someone's AC system goes out. You're the most important, you're the most prized, desired person in the whole city when that stuff happens. That's pretty cool. There's some complicated stuff. It's not like the old days where it was just a few motors. They've got all the AC units that have the variable speeds and all that. I'm sure you're learning all of that. I'm gonna make sure I get your name down on the list somewhere down the road. Cool. So congratulations on your third semester as well. What's this? Is your refrigerator running? All right, JP, I get that one. All right, let's talk about a couple of things real quick. First of all, my background, kind of an interesting one, right? Welcome to the International. I think maybe national. It should be International Bubble Bath Day. Yeah, I didn't even know there was such a thing. When I think about bubble baths, it's been a while since I've taken a lot of bubble baths. All I can think is Mr. Bubbles, which was the old school. I guess they're still around, but Mr. Bubbles type deal. And the other thing I remember for those of you who are fans of the Brady Bunch, one of my favorite episodes is when Bobby puts way too much soap in the washing machine because he's trying, I guess, do his own laundry or something. Floods out the entire downstairs area with bubbles, and everyone gets lost in there. And as a kid watching that, I could relate to that and think, oh, how cool would that be if I just filled up our house with bubbles and all that. Not sure my mom was quite as thinking that would be fun as I thought it was, but welcome to International Bubble Bath Day. You know, the last bubble bath I took probably was inside the Big Brother house. I won HOH, right? And that was really obviously important. I had told myself I was not going to use a shower up in the HOH bathroom until I was entitled to it, until I'd won HOH. So that first night I took a shower in the HOH shower, and it made me feel really important that I had earned my spot. But then when we did the veto competition on the following Saturdays, when I tore my calf muscle and medical had said, why don't you soak it with Epsom salt, just get it super hot and just sit in the tub forever. So I thought, all right, well, this is the perfect time. If I'm going to do that, I might as well put a little bubble bath in there as well. So I loaded up the tub with bubble bath. I don't know who had the bubble bath. I don't know, Cat or Holly or someone. I don't know where it came from, but loaded up the tub with bubble bath. Sat there. I had a couple of bottles of Dr. Pepper from my HOH basket. I had some beef jerky. And I just sat in there with super hot water and enjoyed my bubble bath. Of course, the camera's pointing at me the whole time. So that was kind of a very surreal situation, sitting there taking a bath on national TV. Had my suit on. I'm not quite that open, but yeah, that's the last bubble bath I had. So welcome to International Bubble Bath Day. If you need a bath, go take one, right? All right, let's see. What else do we have going on? JP saying, wait, was that imposter Cliff who was going to fly me to Paris and take me to the top of the Eiffel Tower? No, that was me. But JP, you never responded back, so I had to take some random person I gave away in a drawing and said, yeah, no, that's trust me. If I'm going to Paris, I got a few. Nothing against you, JP, but I got a few people in line in front of me, like my wife. Yeah, JP, if I take you to Paris, I'm going to have to move in with you because I'm not going to be allowed to live at home anymore after that. I've never been to Paris. Well, I went to Paris only to change planes at Charles de Gaulle Airport on the way to somewhere else when I was working international. And the security people stole my food. I was so chapped. Travel story I hadn't planned up. I'll throw this in HL real quick. So Charles de Gaulle Airport, France is all about the fancy schmarmy food, right? You know, 5-star Michelin, whatever, snails and pate and, that kind of stuff. So I'm going through security line. Because I have to change planes, I actually have to change terminals. So I have to leave security, go back through. And as I go back through, I always take a few snacks with me when I travel. I think I was going actually to Nigeria at the time. And so I had snacks with me, Fig Newtons and some, I don't know, candies and things like that. I also had peanut butter crackers. Y'all know those crackers? They're square. They're bright orange. They look like pumpkins or something. Bright orange with the crackers inside. So I'm going through the line. Well, somehow that flags as something weird. So they search through my bags, and these two Parisian security guys say, "What is this? What is this?" So, well, they're peanut butter crackers. Peanut butter crackers. Yeah, they're peanut butter crackers. They look at them. They said, "Are they good?" So, yeah, I like them. Yeah, I think they're really good, guys. Really? We've never had peanut butter crackers. How do they taste? And they wouldn't let me through the line. They just kept saying, "Are they any good? How do they taste?" And finally, I got the hint. I said, "Why don't y'all take one package and try it and let me through the line?" "Oh, thank you very much. You're so kind." So they let me through the line. I hope they choked on them. Right? I guess me bringing American culture to France in the form of peanut butter crackers. So yeah, for all their fancy foods, they got peanut butter crackers that particular day. Yeah, they held me ransom until I gave them some food before I could get through the line. That's my entire experience of France. So yeah, I'd love to go back one of these days and eat cheese crackers, peanut butter crackers on top of the Eiffel Tower. And, hey, man, maybe it's a delicacy. Maybe I can just get all kinds of stuff if I just go and do that. I'm sitting there watching. I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just watched a big play on the football game for the team that I'm cheering for, I think. All right, Wyatt Garrett says, going to see Randall King and Tracy Bird on Saturday night at Billy Bob's. Yeah, who was Billy Bob's had the Turnpike Troubadours, I think over New Year's Eve, right? Yeah, I kind of like they were in concert. I've never seen them. I'd like to. Who else was there? Ray Wiley Hubbard was in concert there not too long ago. I don't know if he was at Billy Bob's, but up in Fort Worth. Tracy Bird. I think trying to think if I've ever seen him in concert. I don't think so. Hey, you're seeing them all. I'm always excited to hear the concert schedule. We were up in Fort Worth, but unfortunately it was over New Year's and just too much going on. I never got a chance to head over to the stockyards. I may get a chance a little bit later this month. It'd be fun to do. We'll just have to see. But yeah, that sounds like quite the concert docket there. Matt B123 said, "How are you doing in this weather?" I'm doing fine as long as I stay indoors. I had to go out and see clients and do all kinds of stuff today. And again, it was really weird. There's a thing, and for those of you who don't live in this area, it's called tornado weather. And it's just, you can feel it somehow. You walk outside, it's not really cold. It's just, you feel the humidity in the air. The sky is green. There's not much wind. There's just something that people from here know when it's tornado weather. And that's what I felt like when I first walked out today to start running my errands and stuff. Well, then about halfway through, all of a sudden it starts just pouring down rain. And by the time I was heading back, fighting through the traffic, trying to get to the football game and all that, yeah, it was a little rough. It's been coming down hard here as well. Not as bad as last Friday. I was out visiting clients then. I had to leave 6:30 or so in the morning. Felt like I was in the middle of a hurricane. I mean, I walk outside, but umbrella doesn't do any good whatsoever. It's just the wind is blowing. It was incredible. So yeah, we're in that little phase right now. It's not really cold down here, but it's not really springtime yet either. You just get some weird stuff. It can be 80 degrees one day. The next day it's 40 degrees. And in between you have typhoons and monsoons and all of that. So at least our stadium is a covered stadium. So all the people watching the football game, man, it looked like it was a little tough to get there. But once they got there, they've got it a lot easier right now. All right, Cindy is saying, my coworkers are ghost hunters and coming to my apartment this weekend. Well, Cindy, I hope it's not because your apartment's haunted. I hope that's just the starting point for somewhere else, right? It's pretty cool. Have I ever been anywhere that was haunted? I kind of believe that there could be, I won't say ghost, but I do think there could be other things out there. I don't know that we as humans know everything about everything, right? So you never know, but that's pretty cool. I was on the USS Lexington, the old World War II aircraft carrier. There were lots of stories and talk about different parts of that being haunted with sailors that were still manning the steam engines and and things like that. Something with that kind of history, I could certainly buy into it. There used to be, in terms of ghost tours and ghost hunters and all that, we used to have the old Spaghetti Warehouse, which was just a Italian restaurant here in Houston. And I think some other cities had them as well. I know Dallas did. It was in a very old building that supposedly was incredibly haunted. So every time we would go there to eat, we would I met Chris Christopherson at the Spaghetti Warehouse. Yeah, he and I walked into the bathroom together and said, "Hey, Chris. Hey, guy." But no. Every time we go eat there, while it was still open, there were people out, paranormal hunters outside with all kinds of fancy dials and gauges and checking stuff out all around that building and everything else. So that's cool. Yeah, but I do want to find out. The more I hear, Cindy, the more I'm interested in different things. Where are they going? Hopefully, again, it's not just your apartment, but somewhere a little further down the road than that. Nicole's getting married a little bit later, earlier this year, a little bit before too long. She's over in Long Island. I just found out she's not that far from the Amityville Horror House. So, hey, maybe I'll just drive by there and tempt fate and yell at Ghost or something while I drive by that house. It may be the last time y'all see me doing Cliff Notes Live, or I may come back with all gray hair, even more gray hair than usual, but we'll find out. All right. What's that? Oh, let's see. Anna is saying, it was late was because I was watching a hummingbird hatch. Oh, that's pretty cool. How big is a hummingbird egg? It can't be tiny, like a quail egg or something, huh? I see hummingbirds every once in a while. I can't say I've actually seen one hatch. That's pretty cool. I think I believe I mentioned last week when I did the show that one of the things that my mom got, that we got from my mom, was a bird house, a bird feeder that has a camera on it. We've had more fun with that. She's got it hooked up to her phone. I've got it hooked up to my phone, so I can watch all the birds show up and eating and all that. I say birds. We also discovered that there is by now a very fat, very satiated squirrel that lives in her backyard, that has figured out that this birdhouse is just a perfect way to take a selfie and load up on a little food at the same time. And it's great because this little thing has a button that you can push on your phone that sets off one that turns on a real bright light, the other one that turns on a alarm. And the squirrel ran away the first couple of times we did it. Doesn't even phase it now. I'm sure the neighbors are over there saying, "What's going on in her house? Every 15 minutes, this alarm's going off." Doesn't bother the squirrel at all. So I've already dealt with squirrels at my house. I've dealt with bees up in the eaves of my house that I had to deal with. I'm back onto the battle with the squirrels again. Now, here's the other deal. My mom's dealing with squirrels that are eating the food out of her bird feeder. I discovered over the weekend, taking down all our Christmas lights and all of that, now that Christmas is over, Epiphany's over and all that, taking down all the lights in our front yard, squirrels ate through all but 2 strings of lights. There's something about the wires up in the trees. They just think they look tasty. They're like green pasta or something. They ate through every one of the wires. I don't know how they do without getting electrocuted. Maybe those wires don't carry enough current or something, but yeah, I had all these lights up everywhere. Everyone I was taking down, I was like, wow, this is sure a lot shorter than I thought it was when I put it up. Yeah, it's because the squirrel chewed right through the middle. So the squirrels and I are officially at war once again. I'm just going to get me some big cages out there. And I don't know, is there such a thing as a squirrel mating call or something? I need to do something to trap these things, take them somewhere else. My mom is saying, I love the birdhouse and that squirrel. All right, so my mom's not at war with the squirrel. They've reached peace, I think. My mom's idea is if she puts enough food out there, eventually the squirrel will be so full that it'll leave, and then the birds get a chance after all. I don't play that game. No, it's the battle. It's a battle of the wits. I'm a little afraid the squirrel may win on that particular one, but we're gonna have to be dealing with that. So I'll keep y'all up to speed on what's going on with my own personal battle. We all have to have something that we're fighting against, right? Anna is saying hummingbird eggs the size of a Tic Tac. Ah, if it's the size of a Tic Tac, that little baby hummingbird is a pretty tiny little thing. That's like I guarantee we got mosquitoes bigger than that in the state of Texas. Right? Do you know where I've seen the biggest mosquitoes? I'm just kind of rambling, guys. So bear with me. Texas has a lot of big everything. But the biggest mosquitoes I've ever seen we're up in Alaska. Alaska has some horrendous, they look like full grown hummingbirds up there. Not so much. Most of the times I've been in Alaska, it's been in the absolute middle of the winter time, so you don't have to deal with it that much. But in the summertime, once it starts getting a little warmer, the top ice layer melts off, you get some bogs up there and all. Those mosquitoes come out in force. Now, I don't know if it's because Alaska has so many more mosquitoes or they just have so many fewer people. I almost feel like you go outside and it's like the mosquitoes say, oh, it's the only person standing outside for 20 square miles around. Everyone dive bomb on the guy with the cowboy hat. Yeah, they've got some rough ones up there. Other place I saw some really rough mosquitoes was over in Malaysia. I was on a little beach area. No, not Malaysia, Brunei, little island of Borneo. Well, Brunei is a country on the island of Borneo. And our restaurant or our hotel that was there was on the beach. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Man, I got a hotel right in the beach. So I show up. I can't even walk outside because the mosquitoes are so bad. They had sausage and egg for breakfast. The sausage turns out just little Vienna sausages from a can that they just put on your plate. The eggs were just, I don't know, liquefied. I don't even know what they were. I don't think they were real eggs. It was not the finest accommodations. I've stayed in some pretty rough places. Brunei may have been one of the worst ones. But the mosquitoes and I interacted quite a bit. So, all right, let's see what else. Mark Taylor said, ever had fried squirrel? Not intentionally, but I probably have. And Michelle Moore saying a squirrel hot pocket. Well, how about squirrel coat? There's people probably have squirrel coats, right? JP saying best way to catch a squirrel is to climb a tree and act like a nut. Let them think that I'm their squirrel friend, right? Yeah, they're bump. All right, a little story about eating squirrels and all. Yeah, no, my name isn't Granny Clampett. So as far for those of you who have had squirrel, who maybe have it for Thanksgiving dinner or something, no offense intended, just not something I've grown up with. You never know, right? I mean, I guess you could eat them. You'd have to eat a lot of them, I feel like, to get a meal out of it. When I first went to Texas A&M, I moved into a dorm. Here, I'm a kid. I grew up in the suburbs, right? I moved down to A&M, and there's what I love about college is there's so many different people from so many different backgrounds. You get city kids, you get suburban kids, you get, especially at A&M, you get a lot of kids from out in the country, right? That are very much more rural type kids, because A&M used to stand for agricultural and mechanical. Now it's just A&M, but we do have a lot of agricultural programs there, and a lot of the farmers in the state go to school at A&M. I walk into my dorm room looking around, feeling very overwhelmed with all of these college students everywhere that look so much older, so much more mature, so much more cool than I was. Walking around saying, God, those guys have like full beards. I can't do that. There's no way. But I walk into this dorm room where I'm going to spend the next 3.5, 4 years. There is a kid who lived out in the backwoods, who one of the first things he did when he showed up on campus was go out and catch all the squirrels in the trees in front of the dorm, killed them all, and had them all up on a board stretching, skinned them. And I don't know what I did with meat. I guess maybe I did have squirrel my first semester, but was drying out the skins to make a squirrel beanie hat or something. I don't know. But talking about a quick exposure to different people and different attitudes. When I walk in, I say, what is it? They're just squirrels. Like it's the most natural thing in the world. It's like, you're not my roommate, are you? No, I'm on first floor. Right? You're up there. Thank you. I'm glad. So yeah, not everything you learn in college is learned in the classroom. We'll just leave it at that. I don't know how I'm getting into these conversations. That's what happens when I'm talking, when we don't have a lot of reality going on. And I got a football game in the background and all of that. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Amanda Lowe saying, my family makes squirrel gravy. See, there you go. I will put it this way. I don't know that I've ever had it. I wouldn't think twice about trying it. I've tried all kinds of exotic foods around the world. Probably sometimes where I really didn't want to know exactly what was being served to me. Squirrel, I guess it's all right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, if I ever come visit Amanda and you serve squirrel gravy, I will certainly take advantage of the opportunity. and give it a try. It's probably, I mean, everything tastes good in gravy, right? For the most part. All right, let's see. Now it sounds like a challenge. All right, Kendra's saying we like the squirrels, but we had raccoons. We had raccoons at our bird feeders. Didn't like that so much. You know, those raccoons are mean. There's just no other way to put it. They're mean little critters. My son was in Cub Scouts and then he was in Boy Scouts. While he was in Cub Scouts, we had some kind of a family camp out one weekend where we went to Sam Houston State Park, just up the road north of Houston. We all had our camp set up, and you know, he was probably 6 or 7 at the time. So going camping was pretty cool. And we set up the tent. I had an ice chest filled with eggs and bacon and all kinds of stuff because we were going to fix this big spread the next morning, cook food. We had stoves, but no, we weren't going to do that. We were going to cook actually over the campfire and be as rural as we could possibly imagine. My son's picturing it being just like the old cowboy days, sitting around the campfire with Cookie preparing the food in the back and then us cooking it up and all of that. And we had it all planned. In the middle of the night, I wake up and I hear the most god-awful racket. What is going on? Someone's breaking into my truck. So I get out of the tent. It's like 3 a.m. Get out of the tent. I go over there, and sure enough, I can see people moving around in the back of the truck. As I get closer, I realize that no, it's not people. It's a whole family of raccoons that somehow knew that inside that ice chest that I unfortunately had left in the back of the truck instead of putting it inside the cab area. My mistake. They managed to get in there. They managed to undo the latch, lift the lid up, and I show up and walk back there. And there's a raccoon holding an egg in its 2 hands, just eating away. I didn't have a fear of me at all. I tried to, hey, get out of here, get out of here. They looked at me, they growled. I thought they were going to attack me. I was a lot more scared of them than they were of me. And these were big raccoons. These aren't little friendly raccoons. These are scary looking things. I couldn't get them to leave. Finally, it's like, well, it's not like I'm going to eat the food anyway after they've been crawling around on it and all of that. So finally, I get a long stick. I open up the back without them attacking me. I pull the ice chest out of the back of the truck. Of course, it spills out everywhere, and they just have their Thanksgiving feast a little bit early. So I kept the raccoon family fed for that particular winter with as much food as they got. I don't think my son even knew about it until he's much older because I waited till as soon as the sun came up, I hopped in the truck. I drove down the road about 20 miles or so to the nearest grocery store, went inside, bought all new eggs and bacon and everything else. And we still cooked up a spread and it was fantastic. And never would have known a difference except for all those raccoons sitting around the edge of the campfire staring at it saying, yeah, we're back for brunch. But yeah, they can be scary when you try to get between a squirrel and its food. I mean, a raccoon and its food. All right, Mark's saying, are you going to follow Traders? When does it start again? Someone told me January 12th is when it starts again. I've been trying to not look at it too much on social media because I'm afraid that there could be spoilers out there. You never know with these shows, the way they drop multiple episodes at once. So because of that, I'm not really too up to speed on all the details. I just know that I love the first season. So yeah, I'm going to follow it. And probably after that, so that's sometime this week. By next Monday, when we do this show, we'll have already had at least some of the episodes of Traders drop. I don't know if we'll talk about it then or not. I've got to get a feel from you guys about how many maybe have seen it versus haven't seen it and still need to watch it, because I don't want to be a spoiler. So I may actually sit back a couple of weeks to give everyone a chance to get caught up before we start talking about it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. I love the first season. I think it's a brilliant strategy type game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Talk about reality TV. I told you how much I love Squid Game's The Challenge, right? Or Squid Game, The Challenge. Angie's not out here tonight, but I know she told me, said, yeah, Cliff, it's not Squid Games, it's Squid Game. Yeah, she's right. But I love Squid Game, the TV show based on the actual movie or series itself. We watched it, convinced my mom to watch it. My mom binged it over, if you're still out there, Mom, you binged it over, what, a day or so? She almost missed church because she was so busy missing church so you can watch something like Squid Game. But yeah, I love that one as well. We've had some good reality TV. This is certainly a great time period for reality. Are they going to sit here 30 or 40 years from now and say, oh, that was the You had the golden age of TV with the all the sitcoms of the 80s, or the dramas of this. They can say, yeah, the early 2000s was all about reality TV. Like, well, maybe I guess so, but we've had some good ones. Now, talking about reality TV, for those of you who are up in Canada that want to be on Big Brother Canada, I hope you've already gotten your call, because I did see a post from Robin Cass saying that they have now contacted all the semifinalists for Big Brother Canada. So if you haven't gotten your call yet, you may need to wait one more year. If you have gotten your call and you're just watching this show to try to check it out and see if there's some extra little advice or anything you can get, call me. Well, or DM me on Twitter, Instagram. DM me. Let me know. I always keep my lips sealed. I never spoil anyone when they tell me something like that's going on, but I can give you a little advice. Now, Big Brother Canada, a little different from Big Brother USA. I love the sets up there. Their house is really nice. Ours felt a little lacking in comparison. Not that I'm knocking the Big Brother USA house, but Canada does it right. Of course, they only give away $100,000 as well versus $750 for us guys. So we know where that budget comes from, right? But I've enjoyed it. I don't think they're going to have live feeds again this year. I haven't heard anyone indicate that they will. I guess that's long gone for Big Brother Canada. It's just not the same. And I still fear that somewhere down the road that could happen to the US's version as well. I think they just get too nervous about what us goofballs may say when you got the cameras on you 24 hours a day. We're all human, right? All right, Karen Loveland saying, I lived in a house that was made into apartments. This house was used as a hospital during the Civil War. It was haunted. Yeah, I could certainly see that. That's pretty scary. I know you tend to build up the fear itself, just knowing the background. Then when you go in there, it just makes it that much more scary. But yeah, I can see it. There is a big house here in Houston. I think used to call it the Jefferson Davis Hospital. And it was a hospital for back in the Civil War, I think, for some, because we had some battles of Civil War here in Texas. Not a lot, but a few. But I think it was a hospital that either took care of soldiers, or maybe soldiers that came back from battle could stay there for severe injury. Anyway, kind of a similar Civil War type hospital that eventually then became a regular hospital for indigent patients and all that. Eventually, back in the 50s or 60s, it shut down completely. And for about 50 years, there was nothing to it. It was just where, homeless people would come in there, and everything. Really, it was in very bad shape. The roof was leaking and all that. And I would drive by that thing on the way to work and see this big building off in the distance and think, that has got to be the scariest looking, most likely haunted in all of Houston type building that you could possibly have. And then eventually someone went and bought it, redid the whole thing, turned it into a kind of an artist co-op, artist lofts. And now it's a beautiful looking building. Here in Houston, where we got a lot of haunted stuff, I'm sure is down in Galveston, which is about 30, 40 miles south up along the coast. And that's where Galveston's where they had the 1900 hurricane that killed 3,000 people and was a major tragedy. I'm sure that led to all kinds of things like that potentially happening down there. But yeah, that'd be a scary house to live in. Some of the other ones we've got down here, we've got in San Antonio, we've got the Alamo. And I know I've never done it because I was, traveling, doing some international whatever. But I know my wife and daughter went on the ghost hunter tour, the paranormal tour around not just the Alamo, but because the Alamo used to be huge, and now it's just one small section you see the pictures of. But there's a hotel there called the Menger Hotel, Menger, and supposedly it's the most haunted place in all of Texas. And I can see it. It's a super old bar, more business deals made there probably than anywhere else in the world. But a super old bar and a whole lot of history. Not all of it good, and a lot of it with Mexican, the Texan independence war and all of that. But I think even past that, just a lot of things went wrong inside that hotel. I tell you, one of my scariest things was reading The Shining as a kid while being out on a ranch about 100 miles from the nearest city. My parents went on and on saying, don't be sticking your hands in any holes that may have snakes, rattlesnakes or anything like that. Don't be jumping off of any cliffs or do anything that you're going to get injured, because they said you're going to be at least an hour away from a hospital because we're out in the middle of nowhere. Some big open areas in Texas. And so they really put the fear into us that we were so far removed from any type of civilization. And while I'm out there, I'm reading The Shining, which is all about, Danny, a 6-year-old boy stuck at this hotel with no access to civilization and all that. That really hit home when I read that book because of the isolation. All right. Let's see. Sonia Battles is saying, have you seen the video where the squirrel stages its death? It makes it look like murder. I can't say I have. I've seen some videos of squirrels doing amazing acrobatic feats, jumping. People build obstacle courses and things like that. I don't know that I've seen a squirrel staging its own death, but I'm not putting anything past those squirrels. It's they're smart little critters. I feel like we communicate every time we go outside, because I walk outside and they'll sit up in the trees and they'll just stare me down. And if I've got time, I'll stare back. I'm matching wits with a squirrel. Maybe that's a fair fight, but it's like after a while, okay, I'm not going to look away first. No, I'm the dominant species, so I'm going to stare at you, squirrel, until you give up. I probably spent 30 minutes sometimes watching squirrels. And then Sharon comes out and says, what are you doing, Cliff? I'm staring at that squirrel. Well, let's get in the car. No, it could be a second. Yeah, that's just the kind of guy I am. It doesn't matter, a big fight or a little fight. If it's a fight, I'm still going to do everything I can to win that thing. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Y'all's comments. I'm looking through. I can't talk about all of them just because there's too many, but I'm reading through some funny ones. Garber, Cliff, how can we get Big Brother to ask you back? You'd have an amazing following. I'd love to do it. It'd be so much fun. Karen Berkey saying, did you hear about the Porsche lot taken over by Blackbird Crows? Oh, the parking lot taken over by Blackbird. Look like a Hitchcock movie. We have that down here, and I don't. Are they blackbirds? They may be like starlings or something. I don't know what they are down here. Those things are so scary. Now it's a pain too, because they'll go to the bathroom all over your cars and all that. Just around the corner, we had them just a few days after Christmas. It's like that Hitchcock movie, The Birds, with was that Tippi Hedren? Was the actress on there? That movie scared me. Now, you know who that movie would really scare is Nicole Anthony she hated birds. She can't stand birds. But yeah, I'm not a real big fan of it. One or two, I'm fine. When it's a whole bunch of them, then I got to think twice. And yeah, some of them, you're right. It looks just like out of a horror movie. And then someone honks a horn or something. Well, first of all, as soon as they honk a horn, all that means is all the birds fly off for about 15 seconds. Just long enough to go to the bathroom and then land somewhere else again. But for that 15 seconds, it looks like a thundercloud. It is such a dark, scary looking cloud. Those birds are spooky. I know at A&M they had a major issue with them, and they tried everything. They were going to put out poison, and people say, no, you can't poison the birds. We don't do that as a university. So then they got these giant air cannons that would fire every 10, 15 minutes or so. At first it scared away the birds, and after a while they're like, yeah, it's just a noise. They get used to it. So then they put up nets over the buildings to try to keep them away. It's tough to keep a bird out when the bird doesn't want to be out, I think. All right, Karen Hummer is saying, I teach in Franklin, Tennessee, which is a Civil War battlefield, lots of haunted buildings, including our school. I can only imagine. Where's Franklin? Is Franklin up on the north and east part of the state? I can't remember. But I certainly know the name. I would love to go see some of the battleground monuments for the Civil War. I've been to Vicksburg, where one or two others in Mississippi. I would have a blast just going out and seeing a lot of the just learning the history of the Civil War. Not the history, the political history, but just the military history. Just the idea that you had these guys at West Point that were all compatriots. I mean, they were working, brothers in arms and all of that. And then all of a sudden they're fighting against each other using the same strategies, but also knowing the other person knows those strategies. I've always thought that was such a weird, such a tragic part of our history. But yeah, I don't want to go on too far back. But yeah, I can only imagine the kind of haunted everything that you have. Texas is fairly new compared to y'all guys back further towards the east that have the American Revolution, Civil War, a little more of those kind of events that could lead to all kinds of discussions, all that. All right, let's see what else are we going. All right, I got one story to tell y'all guys, or not story. Over the weekend for Christmas, Sharon got, I don't know if y'all have heard it before, the Ninja Creamies. I think that's what it's called, right? The ice cream maker. She got that, and we decided to have some fun. So over the last weekend, we tried to make all different kinds of recipes for ice cream. It's pretty cool because there's lots of different recipes out there. I know the ones I was making, I was putting in some oat milk and some Greek yogurt, some regular milk and some stevia, and trying to keep calories down and all this and that. She was trying some different, we all were trying all these different bases. Hers turned out fantastic. She had butterscotch ice cream. She had mint chocolate chip ice cream. She had chocolate ice cream. All of them creamy and just so tasty and all that. I decided to be a little innovative. She shut down my idea about trying out macaroni and cheese ice cream. I'm still going to try that just because. But no, the two I tried out root beer ice cream. I thought, all right, well, it tastes like a root beer float. I'll get the ice cream base. I'll put some vanilla in there. I'll put some root beer extract in there. It'll be just like having a big old ice cream root beer float. Now, it tasted like dirt. It was so bad. Not a success. So then I thought, all right, well, I'll try a different one. So the next one I thought was a little innovative that I was going to try was a peanut butter and jelly ice cream. That could be good, right? I mean, peanut butter, you've had peanut butter in your ice cream before, right? And jelly, yeah, sweet. All that seems like that would be okay. So I tried to make it. We had some of that PB2, the powdered peanut butter. So I put that in there. It certainly did taste peanut buttery, but the jelly, when it freezes and then gets blended, just didn't do what it was supposed to do. It had I don't know, what kind of flavor. It just not dirt, but certainly not a pleasant flavor. It was peanut butter with a little bit of an aftertaste of I don't know what it was. Neither one of those worked. We tried again last night. I finally settled on a recipe. I did cheesecake pudding as part of the base, put in a bunch of blueberries and strawberries. So I had basically like a strawberry cheesecake at the end. Oh, so good. Fantastic. So there's a reason when I was in the Big Brother house, I wasn't the primary cook. I cleaned the dishes because other people could cook a little bit better than I did. Well, my cooking prowess carries right on over into the Ninja Creamy recipes because I'm horrible at it. Sharon had it all figured out. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun with that. So as we go through this next year, y'all bear with me because I'm going to be trying out. I may try macaroni and cheese ice cream. I may try some chili ice cream. I don't know what we're going to do. If it can be frozen, I may try that. I may bring some samples. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I can have some samples on here. I'll try them out during the show, and y'all can vote on whether you think it'll be good or not. I'm just thinking about what we may do going forward. Yeah, I can tell y'all are already excited about the idea of watching me eat peanut butter and jelly ice cream or dirt ice cream. Hey, I bet no one's made dirt ice cream before. I could be the first. May not be the best, but I could be the first. All right, what else do we have on there? Wow, sorry, 752. Justin K. Akasita saying it's buffering. I hope it's not my weather. Again, the weather being so bad, it very well could be from my end a little bit of stagger or whatever as well. Kennedy Franken saying we're getting snow this week, so excited. I'm kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to snow. The kid in me loves snow, right? It's so much fun, and especially here in Texas, we don't get a lot of it. But there is nothing worse than watching people from Texas, from this part of Texas, up in the Panhandle, they're fine. This part of Texas, watching people trying to drive on snow and ice, they just don't get it. They don't understand. Just because you got a giant old four-wheel drive truck that sits up about 10 feet tall doesn't mean that you're going to get any more traction when you hit an ice patch than anyone else. And It doesn't mean that you can go twice as fast as anyone else. We just have very bad drivers when it comes to snow and ice because we're not used to it down here. So, Kennedy, enjoy your snow up there. But down here, I'll take the snow. I don't the ice, not so much. I dealt with that when I worked out in the oil rigs in West Texas. Sometimes there was a time or two where I got a call and said, Cliff, we know that everything is iced over, but you have got to get out to this oil rig. Something's going on. Every hour that you're not out there, it's costing them, $20,000. You got to get out there. And I would get in the car, be driving 5-10 miles an hour. The only good thing about West Texas driving on ice is there's nothing to hit. It's all flat everywhere. So I'd go try to stay in a straight line thinking, well, when I start sliding, hopefully I keep sliding the right direction. Every once in a while, you'd kind of slide around a little bit and have to come to a stop and start again. By the time I got to those oil rigs, I was exhausted, just wanted to get the job done, get out of there, because it's stressful driving those kind of conditions. Y'all can have it. I'll take the 110-degree weather so I can avoid driving on that stuff from this point forward. All right, let's see what it's. Michelle Mills is saying, what was a Big Brother movie on Netflix called Dead Set? There's two of them, and one of them is a Brazilian version of it, and just type in Brazilian version of Dead Set, and it probably will tell you what the name of that one is. Had to do with Greek gods or something, but the one I think that you're thinking of was actually filmed at the Big Brother UK house, and it's called Dead Set, and it's incredible. I really, being a fan of zombies and having been on Big Brother, the two of them together would be great. Now, hey, fun to watch on a snow day, right? If you're getting snow up there, check out Dead Set, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I read over the holiday weekend. I read 1984, which I read a long time ago, and found a copy of it while I was doing some cleaning up stuff, and read it again. Still love that book. If y'all haven't read 1984, read it. It's inspired my passion for reading again. I spend too much time on my phone, on a computer, and all. I'm going to take some time aside and start reading a little bit more. So maybe I'll throw out some book choices for y'all as well. We'll see that. I had to, well, I was going to say I had to read in school. Actually, I didn't have to read in school. I read it in school. In seventh grade, I read it because I'd heard someone say something about it. It's this, big, important novel. So I read 1984 as a seventh grader, wrote a book report on it. And the teacher at first refused to accept the book report because she said that was too mature a book for seventh grader to read, and that she didn't really think that I'd read through it because it's too much. So, well, no, I read it, and I probably bored her to death because I think I probably was so excited about it. I went from the very start to the very finish, explained everything that happened. She quickly decided that, okay, maybe I did read it, but then she didn't think it was appropriate for me to have read as a seventh grader. I think it was very appropriate. But anyway, I finally convinced her to accept it, and I feel like maybe there was a conference. I don't remember. Maybe not with my parents. I feel like I was warned that I needed to get approval from her before I read any more books. It's not like I was out there reading horrible stuff. It was important. But anyway, off on a tangent. I read that, and it got me thinking I'd like to read some more books because I just don't do enough reading anymore. Do it now, because once Big Brother comes back on, Canada or USA, I know that goes away anyway. All right, guys. I told you I didn't have any major topics tonight. I just figured I'd ramble a little bit, talk about whatever y'all want to talk about, throw in a few of my ideas as well. But let me stick with that. Even after we shut down, the comments still stay up here for a little while. Y'all give me some ideas on the kind of books that y'all read. What are some of y'all's favorite? Everyone's got 3 or 4 books that they always will remember for the rest of their lives. For me, it's 1984. It's The Shining. It's The Stand. It's the Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov. I love science fiction type books. So I've got my half dozen or so books that I will always remember, always just treasure the first time I read it. What are some of y'all's? Because I am looking for some more choices, and man, send me some ideas. There's got to be books out there that I just never quite got around to reading, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on it. All right, let's see. I guess with that, we're going to shut it down. Guys, enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much. I've really tried to focus on the screen and not watching the football game as well. I thank y'all all for being here with me as well. Justin K. Akasita saying, who do you got in the national championship tonight? I think I'm cheering for Michigan, guys. I went back and forth, and if Washington wins, then that's fine. And I don't want to throw out any spoilers, but I'm cheering for Michigan. I think only because I know the Michigan Ohio State rivalry is so big, and Brian's probably dis owning me right now and boycotting because I'm even cheering for Michigan. Michigan and Ohio State players don't get along so well. But no, I may be going for them only because Washington, the Seattle Seahawks tried to steal A&M's 12th man, and I still hold a grudge against that whole region for that. And I don't know. Either one I'm winning, but maybe cheering for Michigan a little bit. If for no other reason, just because Michigan had a little bit of a scandal with people supposedly stealing some signs and things like that. And just because they did all that stuff would make it a little more interesting if they won the whole thing. I don't know. Whoever wins is fine. If it's not my Aggies, I'm not so emotionally invested, but go Big Blue, at least for tonight. That's what they are, right? Or Maize and Blue. I don't know, something. All right, guys, I think we'll shut down. Let's say real quick, Karen Loveland saying Anderson diary about prisoners during the Civil War. All right, that would be very, I've heard, maybe it's just the Anderson is what I've heard before, but that feels like it'd get me depressed, but it's got to be incredibly interesting. I'll check that out. Mark Taylor is saying the Harry Potter books. Oh, Mark, I've read the Harry Potter books for a while, but it may be time for a reread. I love those books. I know it's young adults. I don't care. I loved them. Anna Wee is saying a Battle Cry by Leon Uris. All right, I know the author. I don't know the name. Let me see what that said. My dad and I read it together. All right, well, that is a cool endorsement right there. That sounds like one of those as well. I may have to find the paperback version of that because that seems like the kind that would merit that level of reading. I think I've read Leon Uris one or two of them. So all right, I'll check it. Thank y'all. Thank you for the advice. I'll go out there and see what I can find, and I'll start doing a little something different. Maybe we'll talk about that. We're not turning it into the Cliff Notes Live book club. Y'all don't have to worry about that. We'll just spend a little time with it. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to just shut it down. It is 8:00. And so, guys, y'all have a fantastic week. It's supposed to be kind of yucky, snow and ice and everything else. So be careful, be safe, be warm. Ma, go to class and study, and all the rest of y'all as well. Have a fantastic week. I will be back next Monday. Let me know what's going on, any topics y'all want to talk about and all that. We'll cover it then. Until then, guys, y'all have a fantastic week. Big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all you guys as well. If you haven't already done so, I'll finish up with a go out there, subscribe, turn on notifications, and that way, if we do anything exotic, extra days or anything like that, you'll know all about it. Guys, y'all have a great one. SKD 143. Until next week, cheers, my friends. Bye.